Aloha and welcome to Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. We broadcast live from the downtown studios of Think Tech Hawaii in the Pioneer Plaza every Thursday at 2 o'clock. You can go to thinktechhawaii.com and see the schedule for this show as well as all the other shows. And we have a call-in number now, so if you have any questions during the show, please feel free to call in at 415-871-2474. Business in Hawaii is a show about positive stories in Hawaii, positive business stories. We've got a lot of success here. There are challenges, we all know that, but we've got a lot of success to talk about. And today we've got two special occasions going on. One is that I've got a co-host, Chang, who's going to be helping me with this show and some of the others in the future. And we have a returning guest, Jane Sawyer, who's a district director from the Small Business Administration here in Hawaii. So we've got a lot to talk about today. Welcome, Jane and Ina.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, Jane, you've been on the show before, so we know pretty much what you do and how important your role is in Hawaii. But for those that may not have heard that, can you just quickly explain to us what your role is at the SBA?
Okay. I'm the district director for the U.S. Small Business Administration here in Hawaii. So with that, as you know, we work on financing for small business, we work with government contracting, and we also work with counseling, training, and technical assistance for small businesses anywhere in their life cycle. Pre-startup, you need some help getting going, maybe your plan is not actually being realized. We do business planning assistance, and we have a great network of resource partners to help people with that as well.
You do, and this is throughout the entire state.
Well, it's throughout the entire state, and actually my district includes Guam, Pacific affiliated islands, and also American Samoa.
Well, that's a big territory.
Lots of water.
Yeah, it does. So, but you are head honcho, you're the boss, and you've got a bunch of staff over here to help you with this. How many staff do you have in the SBA here locally?
We have a total of 12 people, small business specialists, lending experts, economic development specialists, business opportunity specialists who work with contracting for small businesses. So we have a lot of different programs to help make sure that small businesses, for example, are getting their fair share of government contracts. And last year, 2015, we're happy to report that we finally hit the congressional target with 23% of all federal government contracts actually going to small businesses.
Very good.
That's it's a great
very good.
outcome.
And is that local or is that national?
It's a national measure, but we also, with the presence that we have for government agencies in this district, generally speaking, small businesses do very, very well with direct contracts or subcontracts, and also with our different fields of certification to also kind of help them get a leg up on consideration for government contracting.
Well, and that's another piece of what you do that I think Ina even got involved is the training and the support and the education that you offer small business.
Yeah, we're very proud of Ina and everything she did with our program too. We have a program that's called Emerging Leaders that is for businesses that have been in existence for a while. They have to have at least 3 years under their belt. They have to have some employees. They have to be kind of poised for the next stage of growth and be ready. So these are businesses that are showing that they can make it, but they want to really just get a boost to the next level. So it's a class for the CEOs. We bring a group of 15 to 16 students together, and we work together to kind of make an action plan and help them learn a lot of the tools that small businesses use. And I think you came in and were one of our expert panelists once, Reg, because they need the tools to help them make the right decisions about their business. And maybe you would comment a bit about your experience in the class.
Yeah, a recent graduate, I think it was 2 years ago, with the E200 class. So what I get the most out of it is because I'm being a small business owner, and we're working in the business and on the business as well, but oftentimes we're too involved in the business, and we have to step back and look at the growth of our business. And this program provides a great opportunity with experts in various of industry to help us refocus and really go back and work on the areas that need to help us grow our business again. And because we're all business owners, we love being in a group of people that we understand. People understand each other.
And you have peers there. These are people that are in similar position as you are.
Right.
That you can, find out that you're not the only one experiencing some of these challenges.
Right.
So it's a great collaboration.
They've shared a lot of great ideas. Some of the CEO mentoring groups that we put together have continued to meet. We've been doing this class, I think we're in our 6th year now, and have about 65 graduates at this point who are all increased their revenues, created more jobs, opened new offices, got financing, got into joint venture partnerships. Some of them have even, figured out their business value and sold their business for more than they expected. Developed it a little bit more and moved to the next entrepreneurial adventure.
Now,
Well, maybe-
Jane, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go.
I know that the recent E200 class has already begun. And can you tell our audience when the application period is? And
Sure. It is a competitive process because we only get 15 seats. We provide the training for the CEOs at SBA covers the cost. Basically, you have your parking and do your homework and get to class because it is a real active involvement on part of the CEOs. So we usually do the recruiting starting about January of each year. We start the beginning of April and we have 13 sessions over the next several months before we get through graduation. But one of the neat things is you're working on your business as a case study and you're planning for your business growth, and how do you accomplish your goals in your business. So it makes it very real, very pertinent. You're bouncing ideas off of other people kind of in the same position. So how did it work for you? What have you got? You learn your financial ratios. You really learn a little bit more, or actually in some cases a lot more, about managing your financials and learning about what it's going to take to move it forward, because that money, that cash flow, that capital is always a really very, very
And
important
some
part.
of this you can implement right away, right? I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then your peer can give your feedback, or the experts can direct you to the right direction.
Yeah,
So
nice.
last night was the second session, and of course, you remember having to stand up and do your pitch and really hone your skills in presenting your company and being impactful with those kind of statements. So it's interesting to see the first swipe around the group and talking about what their businesses really do.
Yeah.
Well, it's
What's
a-
the core? What's the essence?
It's a very exciting program, and it's competitive to get in. So
Yes.
it opens up, the applications begin.
In January. It's a one-page application. There are a series of interviews, and we finally select about 15 students. We've had students who fly in from the neighbor islands every 2 weeks. For this class, it's usually in the evening because we try to accommodate the working schedule. And it's just been very, very successful. And people bring a lot to the table, a lot to share. So
And where can they get the application?
they can just find us at www.sba.gov/HI for Hawaii, or call my office at 541-2990, and that's extension 202 to get to me. Any of my staff can help you, though.
Super. Very good. So the SBA does a lot more than just teach, and they have some collaboration partners, affiliations that they have. Could you explain what some of that is?
We have a lot of different programs to help, give tools to small businesses to help them grow. So some of them are in the training and technical assistance area. One of our premier partnerships there is with the University of Hawaii, called the Small Business Development Center Network. So actually the Hawaii Small Business Development Center provides training, technical assistance with professional consultants throughout the state. The consulting is free. They can go in depth with the small business. They can help you review your business plan, do a critical assessment, help you do a financial a presentation or a profile for your business, help you put together a financing package. And they've done some very high level deals and can help businesses get anywhere from, a startup funding from $25,000 into multi-million dollars. They've worked with people for alternative financing in smaller amounts, regular financing, fixed asset financing to buy buildings or facilities, buy a business, on into helping you with a prospectus for venture capital.
And they know all the SBA products, so they know how to guide you in the right direction and make sure that they get something that fits for them.
And several of the consultants are actually trained in export consulting too, so that they know the ins and outs of being able to get your product or service to be sold off island or in Asia or it's in any of the emerging markets. So a lot
And
of good tools to help with that.
SBDC has offices on every island? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're located at the Manoa Innovation Center here on Oahu. We have a Hilo Center, we have a West Hawaii Center in Kona, and we have a Kauai Center. And also Maui is located over at the business park in Kihei.
And I remember that SBDC usually hosts some kind of seminars every month, at least every month.
Yes.
Yeah, and the fees are usually very affordable and reasonable. And I've personally joined some of the functions or sessions, and it's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Well, they've got some pretty good, I guess,
Speakers.
experts that
Yes.
come in and do the presentation and teach classes. And I think some of the people at SBDC are pretty experienced themselves.
Yeah, they've got a wonderful background with all our consultants there, so we're happy when we have a full contingent of them out there in the field. They're working with some of the small businesses that are being impacted by rapid transit. They work with our veterans. They work also with our Women's Business Center over at the Mink Center for Business and Leadership, which is another program that we fund together with the YWCA
And
here
they're
in town.
very active. They've got things going on all the time.
They've really kicked it up. The special program that's designed to address the special needs that women have as business owners, oftentimes needing a very flexible schedule, not having, say, a business background or formal training in business. So they just help, again, with the business plan, with the marketing plans, networking, exposure to other resources and contacts. So they've got a really very, very good program over there. They're doing an excellent Launch My Business series that is for pre-startups. And they offer that about four times a year, and you can find that by looking or Googling Mink Center for Business and Leadership, and you'll find their whole schedule and a lot of information. It's great to get on some of these mailing lists too, because then they notify you when special events are coming up. And of course, that's at your preference, your interest level to see if you want to get involved with them.
I have found, because I'm on the board for the SBA for regulatory fairness, and I subscribe to a number of the letters or newsletters for this region, the 9th region, and I made the mistake, but it was a good one, of signing up for all the different newsletters from all the different districts. Oh my gosh, I get 6 or 7 emails a day with lists of things. There is more training going on, more education available through the SBA that nobody can take it all. It's amazing.
Being a small business owners, I think SBA is a great resource for any new business or business that have been existing for a long time, need to fresh up their skills, know what's going on in the market, and just keep on top of what's going on.
Well, and just having a general awareness. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so being exposed to all the different classes may trigger, I didn't know, I need to find out more about that.
Yeah.
It helps.
And it's a good thing to get in touch with my office and sign up for our regular bulletin that will tell you a little bit about things going on or special initiatives. For example, this year we have made an award to DBED here for the State Trade Expansion Program. This is, I think, probably the 3rd year we've gotten funding to them, but they're offering training for people who are pre-export, that are existing export, help you explore new markets. One of the interesting things is they will help you actually fund some of the related activities. So if you have a product that, okay, I'm selling it to Canada now, but I think maybe I could enter the Japan, get funds so that you can actually explore what do you need to do to market or package or repackage or rebrand your material. So there are applications online. They can also give you money that will help you get to trade shows.
Well, let's
can
take
be
a break with that thought in mind.
So it's important to find out about that.
DBED got money.
For you.
Aloha, my name is Richard Emery, and I host Condo Insider. We talk about issues facing the condo association throughout Hawaii and talk about solutions. When you think about it, about 1/3 of our population lives in some form of common interest real estate. We broadcast every Thursday at 3 p.m. Please tune in, and thank you. Aloha.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on Think Tech. This show is is so very dear to my heart. We talk with artists of various different ilk here about the process that they go through for their art. So we talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they do it. And it's a show that is inspiring. This is what I hear from people all the time. And a show that will teach you something, sometimes something about yourself. I hope you'll join us. The show is Center Stage. It's on Think Tech every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. This is Reg Baker, Business in Hawaii, and my co-host today is Ina Chang. We're here talking with Jane Sawyer, the District Director for the Small Business Administration in Hawaii, and I would say most of the Pacific. But this is a very special week in Hawaii, and actually a very special week throughout the entire country. It's Small Business Week, and Jane is up to her knees in events and activities. Can you tell us a little bit about Small Business Week?
Well, National Small Business Week is in a time we can appreciate what small businesses do for all of us and their contributions to the economy. Every year since 1963, the President of the United States has declared at least 1 week. I personally think it should be a lot more than 1 week, but 1 week that we recognize and kind of honor what small businesses do for the country, and even here in Hawaii. Most of our businesses are small businesses, 98% of them. They create 2 out of 3 net new jobs. They are the ones who foster innovation and really help us move forward. So it's very, very important. So we have a week where we look at businesses to recognize, to tell stories about, talk about what they've done and how they've accomplished, what they've achieved, kind of to help motivate and inspire the rest of us.
I think a lot of people don't really appreciate how important that small business segment is of the economy. And we were just talking a little bit about that during the break. If for some reason that small business segment of the economy was pulled out, it would decimate the entire economy. You know, there wouldn't be much left. And people don't seem to, I think, appreciate that as much. And I think it's this week of awareness and getting that message out and letting everybody know that 2/3 of the jobs are with small business. That's an important message.
It really is, and when you really stop to think about it, and that's what we want, is people to kind of pause and look at the small business people that are around you, shop with the small business people that are around you, because keeping them going means that we'll be getting the new products that we want, we'll be getting new services that we need, because it doesn't all come from major corporations. So if we look at the small boutiques around, we look at the restaurants around, and small businesses really can be quite large. You know, they can be, one of the statistics that is problematic often is that so many people define small businesses by different criteria. And if you're looking at small businesses with less than 100 employees, we look at small businesses based on the number of employees as well as annual revenues as a size standard. But some of them can be very, very large. But they're the ones who keep the products and services moving. They're the ones who create the jobs so that we can, again, get money back into our economy. They're the ones that innovate or create something new or tweak things so that we can be more productive. But that's where it really happens.
It does, and you mentioned innovation. I mean, you're in the technology business. I mean, a lot of innovation comes from that small business sector, doesn't it?
I think that also being on top of that, small business owners are innovative and they are thinking outside of the box. They usually will travel. They are very observant. So they bring in new energies and new ideas into the place that they reside in. And having a government that supports small businesses really, I think, adds more color, adds more energy, adds more creativity into the community. And I think that's the big corporations can or have limitations on doing that in a shorter amount of time.
Well, and sometimes the larger companies have a culture that doesn't really encourage risk-taking.
Right.
Whereas in a small business, sometimes you've got to take that risk to survive. You know, and so there's a different cultural aspect to it as well, I think. And, and I totally agree. I think having an organization like the SBA or maybe even DBED or other groups that help support that is critical to the small business economy.
I think it's really important that all those types of organizations are visible and collaborate as well. So we have to be innovative so that we can really have a multiplier effect ourselves in how we can get more businesses moving forward, how we can make it easier, kind of show them a path. And you know, it makes it easier for them to proceed if we can look at things like, you know, regulatory reform where it's needed, so we have a more friendly business environment, access to capital so they can get the financing they need more easily when they need it, and be aware as well of what they need to do in terms of finding the right kind of funding and the right kind of investment for their business and for their business goals. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not just that you sit down and you start making a lot of money, because there are a lot of decisions to make.
And I have to applaud that the U.S. government is very, very supportive of the small business owners, and especially when you are trying to establish a small business. The application is only one page, $25, versus doing business in other countries, and there's a lot of rules and regulations. I've seen that. So, you know, I'm very fortunate to have established a company here in the U.S. And with supporters such as SBA, SBDC, you know, I can't complain.
A lot of support. Yeah. Now, this week is Small Business Week, National Small Business Week, and we just got done. I was a guest at a ceremony this morning where there was a proclamation from the governor given. And I think it's on the screen right now. But you were there to receive this proclamation along with the president of the Chamber of Commerce. So this is a pretty neat thing that's, you know, does, what, every year they do this, don't they?
Right. Every year we have Small Business Week, and we do, one of the things that we do, kind of folded into this, is, as I said, recognize some of the outstanding small businesses and the successes of small businesses. Entrepreneurs, exporters here in Hawaii, and my colleagues do it across the country. So it's very, very interesting. This week on Monday, our Small Business Person of the Year for the state of Hawaii was in Washington, D.C. to help our administrator and the president launch Small Business Week. He met with the other state winners from all 50 states and the territories. Our Native Hawaiian veteran, CEO Raymond Jardine, is the Small Business Person of the Year. He was in DC, and they announced the National Small Business Person of the Year, and we were really pleased to know that Ray was our second runner-up. So that means that, you know, our top small business really can get up there and compete. He was selected as the third
That's
small
excellent.
business.
We got a local
Very
guy
impressive.
that went to Washington and
Yes.
now nationally recognized. This is super.
Yeah.
May I
So-
also allude with our earlier conversation about the E200 class? I know that there is a competition between each state, and I know that Hawaii is usually either on top one or top two ranking
Yeah.
in terms of, I guess, the amount of money that we're able to, the classmates or graduates able
Yeah.
to bring in, and also the number of jobs
Right.
that we provide to the state.
I think that's one thing that we look at when we do kind of visit those metrics, and we don't just try to listen to what's happening with small business anecdotally. Yes, that's a good way to look at and understand what's happening with business, but we do look at what those factors could be: job creation, annual revenues, increase in capital infusion, all of those things. And our CEO class ranks with the best of them. They top out, I think we're up to about 24 classes across the country, and Hawaii's up-and-coming CEOs always are strong performers. So I think it says a lot of how they deal with adversity, the kind of support that we have for business owners here, their drive and their passion for what they're doing. Because Hawaii is, you know, we don't rank real high in some of those surveys for small business friendliness or our entrepreneurial outlook, but I think it's really commendable and remarkable that we have small business owners who are achieving the things that they are.
Well, particularly for a state with a population of the size that we have. In some respects, we're kind of tiny, but yet we're able to make national rankings on a pretty consistent basis. That's a great story. I mean, that tells me we got some quality people here.
And I think our slate of Sba Award winners that we've recognized on Kauai, on Maui, on the Big Island in Hilo over the last 2 weeks have been some really incredible stories and amazing accomplishments, not only in what they do for their business, but also what they do for the community. I mean, jobs, contributions back, training programs, participation in, environmental improvements, just the students and internships and things that you see some of these companies do, and how they have, some of them have succeeded and evolved and been profitable for 60 and 70 years, passed from one generation to the next, and always with amazing entrepreneurial style and the aloha spirit. It's just incredible to hear some of their
I think
stories.
that's something very special about Hawaii. People grow, people give back, and I'm not gonna be surprised if a lot of the awardees being recognized, and then years later they come back and work with SBA and be one of the mentors.
It's really exciting to see the slate. We have 33 award winners, and they range from, we select a Small Business Person of the Year for each of the counties, and from those we take a look at who is our top state winner. Who would we want to represent the state? And Reg has been one of our judges, and he knows it's not a very easy process.
No, it's very competitive, and there's a lot of very qualified people in there. It's not an easy process to judge these, and rank them. It's tough.
We've been doing this for about 30 years here in Hawaii, and we always really, the SBA awards are really probably the premier small business awards. We look at some real hard-hitting information about these businesses. So again, it's, we look at their annual increases in annual revenues, their job creation, their response to adversity, their innovation of practice or service or product. And then we look at how they're involved and how they give back to the community. So they're all objectively scored. These poor judges have to pour through lots of nominations in a couple of different categories, and they score them objectively, and we look at who the top scores come from, and it's incredible. The stories are really amazing.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I want this show to be a success, is because we do hear about the challenges and some of the issues surrounding doing business in Hawaii. But I look at all of these applications to win these awards, and I hear all these stories all the time, and there's a lot of positive out there that we're just not getting enough visibility on. And I applaud the SBA for taking the lead on this. This is great. You've actually got a luncheon coming up here where we're gonna, and you've actually had luncheons on each one of the islands, right? Where the chambers and the SBA came together and acknowledge and recognize these folks.
And they're just such inspiring events. It's very positive. A lot of the community come out. So we were over on Kauai, and the county council and the mayor was out. The community, they sold out the event to recognize 6 or 7 winners over there. Who the Small Business Person of the Year is Kaloa Rum. I think they may have been on your show
been a
also.
guest here before, yes.
Another great program that's created jobs, created a manufacturing niche, have a national reputation, award-winning products, diversifying and really, attracting tourists. I mean, all these good things. And then they also are giving back and looking at how do we diversify and recreate some of our historic agriculture and grow it in a sustainable and positive way, that we are then creating value-added products here on Kauai and building those jobs. So they've got their warehouse and they've got a tasting center. So they've just are doing a great business over there, giving back a lot to that community.
We're going to have to take a short break, and we're going to be right back. This is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. I got Chang as my co-host today. We'll see you in about a minute.
Hi, aloha. My name is Chris Leatham, and I host a show called The Economy and You. The show plays every Wednesday at noon, and on my show, I bring on guests who are interested or working in the technology space. And so I'd like you to come and watch the show and learn with me about all the sort of exciting things that we're doing in Hawaii to build and grow our economy ecosystem. So I'd like to say aloha, and I look forward to seeing you on the show. Thank you.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. I am Anu Hittel, and I host a show on climate change. It's called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. And in it, we go beyond outrage to look at solutions to global climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. Join me every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time. Aloha, namaskar, and goodbye.
Welcome back. This is Reg Baker and Ina Chang co-hosting today on Business in Hawaii. We've got a guest here with Jane Sawyer with the SBA. We're just now transitioning from a discussion on Small Business Week. We're going to talk a little bit about the SBA winners of the, I guess the competition I'll call it, for winning some of the SBA awards. So you've got a pretty good selection this year.
It's a very diverse group, represent all different kinds of businesses, different industries, different age groups, different backgrounds. So the Small Business Person of the Year, I think I mentioned earlier, Ray Jardine, Native Hawaiian veterans. In just probably less than the last decade, probably just a little short of that, he's created over 200 jobs, and he has federal contracts internationally in all of the states, but he really identified a niche starting with IT services and got into security and a number of different types of business contracts with the federal government. So he's excelled. He came up through our SBA's 8A business development program for socially and economically disadvantaged individuals, and he just took that program and went after it.
It just
So
exploded. It took
marketing, business savvy, went out there and really made it work for him. And he's very, very involved in providing training and giving back to the Native Hawaiian community as well. So besides just creating jobs that he'll train people for as well.
Yeah. Jane, can you talk about what 8A is about? So for our audience who might not know what 8A.
8A is a business development certification program with the SBA. There is an application process, but it is designed for socially or economically disadvantaged individuals. And through the application, you need to be in business for at least 2 to 3 years before you get into the program, so that you show that you have the ability or the capacity to work on and deliver on a government contract. So SBA will act as the intermediary for you and help you secure government contracts. Or, you know, a lot of the firms market themselves once they've got the certification in this 9-year program. But it does make you, we give you a lot of training and technical assistance again, so that you know how to interact and market yourself to government agencies, identify the right kinds of contracting opportunities. They also work with service-disabled veterans. We work with women-owned small business. There's a special women-owned small business contracting program for government agencies. So a hub zone program. So all of these are tools you can use to help you secure contracts with the federal government.
And
that
Ray
could
got
really-
into this, and he did really well with it.
He's done really well. He's almost ready to graduate, but he's running a very, very successful business and doing well and doing good. So that's a nice thing.
Now, just, I know Ray's done a super job, and you got nationally recognized for it, but you got other award programs too, right?
And we look at a number of different areas, or the Small Business Person of the Year is but one of the awards that we give out. One award that I particularly like is our Entrepreneurial Success Award. And this goes to a business that started as a small business and has grown sufficiently over the years that it's now considered a large business. This is one of the few awards where we say, hey, did SBA ever influence or help you along the way? So this year's winner is a statewide business. They've been around for about 60 years. They started on Maui about 65 years ago when a woman barber bought a small general store in Kahului. Since they've expanded and started franchising, so Maui Varieties, you probably recognize them more as HouseSmart Ben Franklin and a HouseSmart
Yes.
Ace Hardware. 28 stores throughout Hawaii, over 400 jobs created. They're run now by the 3rd generation, so it's not only an entrepreneurial success story, but it's a family-owned business, and one of those that really provides that kind of cultural connection to Hawaii, and the family operates on all the islands.
And that started with just one lady barber who decided to get into something new.
And she brought in her family. They Some of these folks remember working as kids. You know, the officers now remember working in the stores, you know, growing up on the different islands. And so siblings and cousins run the operation now. But they'll be recognized and honored as our state winner tomorrow at our 29th annual Sba Awards presentation and luncheon.
Very good. And those are the kind of success stories we really want to promote and let everybody know that it can be done. And there's no cookie cutter approach to this. I mean, anybody can do this. Regardless of education or whatever, they can do this if they want to.
Right.
I think that's one of the remarkable things about being an entrepreneur or a small business owner. If you have drive, if you have vision, if you have the persistence, you know, it does help to, you know, add in or know where to find other resources like training or technical assistance. But a lot of it is we learn by doing and by tapping into the right kind of resources or, you know, having that dream and sticking with it. So some kind of that commitment. So that's who we're looking at with these awards. It's who's demonstrated that or showing that passion for their business, who's making a difference.
And, you know, although you may start the business by yourself, you're not alone. You've got support around you, as we already talked, and, you know, I'm sure you've had, you know, mentors and advisors helping you in your success. I have, you know, so people don't, they're maybe intimidated to go out and try to do something on their own, but the reality is that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that's willing to help.
I think that as long as you're humbling yourself and be willing to and open your mind to get help, then I think people are they're willing to help. It's about like how successful you want to be.
I think that's true. What are your goals? What are your dreams? And are you willing to accept the help? You can go out and probably find a mentor if you're sincere and you're willing to work. If you show those characteristics, I think we see that in small businesses all the time. One example that comes to mind from among our winners is our Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the county of Kauai, Taryn Rodriguero of Kaikini Bikinis. Her business idea came up because she's an ocean advocate. She likes being out in the water, and she didn't like how her bathing suits were fitting, so she started taught herself to sew and started designing swimwear, and now she's one of the state's largest manufacturers of swimwear.
Wow. See,
So,
innovation.
and, you know,
Exactly.
and hot fashion, you know, she's and she also started as a home-based business. She now has a facility over there, a manufacturing facility, and she encourages other entrepreneurs to come in and use her facility to work on their design work. She's involved with Hawaii Fashion Month and things like that. She's created jobs, and she works a lot with that Chamber of Commerce to share her knowledge. So it's kind of coming from that germinal idea and just finding the gumption to make it all work and apply yourself.
And I think a lot of the small business started because there's a problem, there's an issue. So
A need.
and they come up with ideas,
Right?
solutions.
You find a gap and fill it. That's kind of how you started, isn't
Exactly.
it? Right?
Yeah. No, it's you know, and there's other awards as well. I mean, there's an exporting award.
We do recognize exporters. Since that's such a big issue for us and such an important thing to cultivate and develop, particularly in a small island state like us, so isolated and everything. We're not sending out products and services. We aren't refreshing and renewing cash and capital here in Hawaii. So we have several outstanding exporters that we're recognizing. Our state exporter is Fresh Hawaii Products from the Big Island. Toshihasa Asaki, I believe is the name, and he's an immigrant who came and started working with the papaya and some of the farmers on the Big Island. He bought into an organization just as we were hit by some of those natural disasters over there that almost turned his business upside down. But he sells papaya primarily to Asian markets, primarily Japan, and packages for a number of different farmers. So he's helping keep those farms open and going, and has also put many acres under cultivation himself. But he'll sell those products, and he's also started researching and working on selling more exports. So he's looking at selling ginger, he's looking at selling sweet potatoes, and so that's going to help a lot of those
Wow.
Big Island smaller farmers also develop another product and have a way to get it to market. and outside the state.
So it's an interesting way to diversify the economy a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. See, the small business got their fingers into everything, don't they? That's
There are
great.
also Hawaii Macadamia Nut, who is one of our exporters for the Big Island with Richard Schnitzler. And he works a lot with the other smaller farmers again and the Macadamia Nut Association. Of course, Mac Nuts are our product, right? You know, Hawaii product. Doing a great job, and again, selling a lot of those products to Asia, you know, bulk, rebranding, special packaging, and also diversifying and doing some other value-added products that you'll find on the Big Island. So supporting their community, creating jobs, using the Hawaii brand, and marketing Hawaii for all the rest of us as well.
That's very good. And is there any other award that we haven't talked about yet?
Let's see, when young entrepreneurs, exporters,
They used to have a veteran-owned business award. or they-
we don't have a veteran-owned business award, but we do have a veteran advocate award. And that goes to Jana Uehara from the Business Action Center. She's the head of the Business Action Center and works pretty tirelessly in helping us deliver our Boots to Business program across the
That's
state.
a great program.
So that's a program that we deliver to military members who are transitioning out of the service and may, as opposed to trying to go and get a job, are interested in starting their own business. We see them going into technology fields. We go see service areas like IT security. We see security guards. We see them starting training centers. So they're, you know, some of them who, you know, mechanics, training for pilots, all different kinds of things that they want to do. So we help them gain the skills. We move them from the Boots to Business class to an 8-week online class that they can take, you know, in their own time frame, but it's available across the country. And then we try and take them, because so many of our veterans here who are exiting in Hawaii may not stay in Hawaii. We connect them with the resources of our Veteran Business Opportunity Centers and our district offices across the country.
I have to say that veterans probably have received the best and the latest technologies or training in the entire nation, and they have the highest clearance.
So there are things that you know that make a difference in industry where you're dealing with confidentiality
Right.
and security issues.
Well, and Ina, you know that. Why?
Because I learned it from SBA and all other mentors around me.
Right, but you also have a business that's called Aloha Data.
That's right. I was trying I'm trying to put the focus on Jane today.
But no, but you're one of the success stories,
Thank
you
you.
know, and you've done well, and you've hired some of these people, and that's why you know some of this, you know.
Yes.
You appreciate those skills and
Yes.
those capabilities.
Absolutely.
So it's
Very
nice
good.
to have them bringing them to the table as you hire them, and they're ready to go and hit the ground running.
And I have to say that they are probably one of the most disciplined employees I've ever had. They're on time. They want things done on time and do their best.
Mission focused.
Right.
That's
And being an employer, I really value those advantages of hiring veteran or military folks.
Well,
See, they bring a lot to the table.
being
And you're a veteran.
Being a veteran, I thank you for being so open to bringing them in. I know when I transitioned out in a different era, there was a lot of negativity. There was a lot of baggage that you know, I had to deal with when you're coming out of the military. But it's a much different environment now, and it's nice to see that it's an easier transition. You know, so there's a lot more support out there, I think, these days than there was 25 years ago. So very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're about ready to wrap up. We kind of went right through the program pretty quickly. Any closing remarks you'd like to say, Jane, or you know, is just if you want to do it, do it.
You know, well, I think that there are a lot of resources that people should know about and be willing to tap into, because that's going to help you succeed. Even if you just have an idea right now, but you have the desire to match and an interest, there are resources to help you do a feasibility study and see what you can do. Dream big, start small, and I would encourage anybody to go for that.
Don't be shy about asking for help.
You know,
All right.
it's there. It's there.
Very good. Well, we've run out of time. This is Business in Hawaii with Reg Baker. I've got a co-host, Ina Chang, with me today, and we just finished talking with Jane Sawyer of the Small Business Administration. Thank you very much. We'll be here next week at 3 o'clock. at 2 o'clock, and Ina Chang will be the guest host next week. So thank